Now it's time for Movie Friends with your hosts Michelle and Seth. We're talking film without pretension. We're finding cats that are unexpected. We'll watch a movie, film, or schmovie, and we want you to join our journey. So subscribe and share this podcast, or this might just be the last of the Movie Friends. We're movie friends. We want to be your movie friends.
Hey, welcome to Movie Friends. I'm here with my friend Seth Vargas, who wants a Class C cat for a Class A price.
And I'm here with my friend Michelle Rubenstein, who trades millions of dollars of stocks every day.
Imagine if that's what I did as a day job.
Some people do it somehow. I say somehow as if it's magic. I know it's not magic. I know how it works. I know that we probably all should be doing it to some degree or another.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not interested. You know what? It's like the idea of your money making money just doesn't sit right with me.
Huh.
Yeah, I want to earn. I want to work harder, not smarter, you know?
Yeah. Wow. That's something to think about.
Do you play the stocks?
I don't. My aunt was really good at it. And really, it has set her up for her to be very financially stable. Now it's paying for her care in the home. And my
That's
dad
serious. Wow.
My dad was pretty good. He lost some money, but I just don't understand it. Aunt is interested in it. I'm not good with numbers.
You buy and sell.
Apparently.
You buy it low and you sell it high.
That's what they say.
You wait for we should cover. Oh my God. All right. Hey, welcome to Movie Friends.
Hi, welcome.
We will talk about Rent-A-Cat.
Yeah.
Usually between 7 and 10 minutes we get to the movie. But there's a thing on our show where you and I will talk about a movie and it will reveal how little we know about the real world.
Yep.
We'll be like, how does this work? How do maps work?
How does space work?
Yeah, how does space? And so a really fun one would be to do The Wolf of Wall Street.
I've never seen it.
Because that's all, obviously, it's about Wall Street and buying and selling and pink stocks, penny stocks, pink slip stocks. I don't even remember, but it would be funny for us to try to navigate how this, like, by the end, we'd be like, we don't get why what he was doing was illegal. It sounds good to me.
Right. Isn't there just like a lot of coke in that movie?
Oh, boy.
Oh.
I have a lot of thoughts on that movie. There are a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nudity.
Nudity?
Yeah.
Eat your crudité with some nudity.
That's like a crudité. Oh, goodness. Anyway, what's going on?
Well, I've been watching a lot of Whose Line Is It Anyway clips.
Wait, I literally didn't hear you. You've been watching what?
A lot of Whose Line Is It Anyway clips.
Oh, WLIIA, as we call it.
Sure. Did you watch that growing up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fox Family, ABC Family, whatever ran it.
Yeah, ABC
4-hour
Family.
blocks of it. Oh, my God.
So our friend Krista, she sent me a clip of one of the games last week, and it made me want to watch it. And it seems pretty difficult to find episodes to stream. So I've just been watching like the best of compilations on YouTube.
Yeah.
And specifically the one where they do sound effects from the audience. And so they'll have the audience, they'll pick Drew will pick two people from the audience to do sound effects, usually for Colin and Ryan as they act out a scene, right? And a lot of these skits, from watching so many clips, there's a lot of having to make car sounds or like starting a car. Right. And in my mind, I think I can do it, but I realize I cannot make the sound of what it sounds like to start a car. And so I'm curious, can you do it?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I'm going to put in the key.
Yep. The
Ding,
ignition.
Ding, 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 ding,
Uh-huh.
ding.
Hey! That was pretty good. So I was...
What's yours?
I was sending my version to Krista yesterday, and she's like, that's what mine sounds like. She's like, guys can do it better. And I was like, what? What do
No,
you
I
mean
refuse
guys
to
can do
believe
it better?
that.
Anyway, mine was like, "Roo, roo, 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 roo." That's
Okay,
not right.
well, maybe guys can do it better.
Like, I can hear it in my head. But I'm like,
I just got lightheaded, coughing from laughing so much. Can I hear that again?
okay, I'm going to really try. Ding. Roo, roo, roo.
No, no. What? That's the sound that a balloon makes as it whips around the room comically.
I
You know
can't,
what I mean?
like, yes, I know. And then it's like a blinker would be like, kind of. But like starting a car, like, no. Anyway,
You're
that's my question of the
going
week.
too high.
Well, like how?
That sounds like a car that has sugar in the tank. You're squealing. Your belts are squealing.
My car needs help.
Which is
Needs work.
what my doctor says whenever I ask him about my weight.
Did it douche?
Did it douche? Oh my God, we found out Michelle can't do sound effects.
Right, I would be the worst person at it. The worst.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we all know when you hit the symbol, that one symbol that goes douche.
Well, how did you?
Do
Oh, a CH.
Yeah.
Did you douche? No, did you?
Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
Wowie zowie.
Mm-hmm. How are you? What's going on?
I'm doing well. I've started a new job in the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
If you can see me, which you can't because this is a podcast, I'm wearing a pink flowered shirt. And I'm really wondering how long I have to wait before wearing like the fun collared shirts to work. You know what I mean?
Oh, just a weird noise came out of my mouth as I was like pondering how to even move forward. Why can't you wear this shirt to work?
Well, okay, you want to be professional at work, right?
I mean, Seth is wearing a button-down floral tee short sleeve shirt.
Collared shirt.
It's buttoned down though.
It's close to a polo, but
no, it's not. That's not a polo. That's not a polo.
Close to a polo.
It's
closer
not,
to
though.
A polo than a t-shirt, but anyway, okay, a few years back. Okay, wait. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. I have worn dark colored clothing. Black, gray, dark blue. Almost exclusively my entire life, you know? And then a few years ago, I thought it would be funny if I started wearing like pink shirts or like brightly colored shirts. And people would be like, whoa, why is Seth wearing a brightly colored shirt? That's so weird of him, right? So I did it as like a gag and a bit. Mm-hmm. And now I just have all these brightly colored shirts. And so I realized the other day when I was putting away my laundry that the bit just became like my life. And now I'm stuck.
What a problem.
I know. But yeah, that's what's going on with me.
But like, why can't you wear the shirt to work? I'm still trying to understand and get the answer.
Well, again, you want to be professional, right? Like you can't show up looking like Robin Williams doing like Live Aid or whatever.
Right.
You know?
I mean, if you were to wear that shirt with nice pants and a nice pair of shoes, that could work.
Yeah, not so much, the shoes thing. But
yeah.
The other thing that's been happening with me is I've been walking.
Yeah.
Like
huge
crazy.
Development. Mm-hmm.
Walking all the time. Just so much walking.
Yeah.
And I feel good. Feel better.
Good.
Folks.
Good.
If you've been thinking you should exercise, just start walking. Forget the gym. Forget the running. Just walk for like 3 hours every day. And you'll feel really good.
Did we get any emails?
No.
What? Come on. No emails, no Ebert song.
Oh, that's right. Hey, if you haven't listened to our episode on Donnie Darko, we are accepting jingles for our segment of our episodes where we see if Roger Ebert reviewed the movie. So, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, just send us a little voice note on your phone. Email it. moviefriendspodcast@gmail.com. We want to have a good rotation going,
I think it would be fun.
Yeah. Well, I think as always, you and I think something is fun and everyone else is like, we don't think that's fun.
It's hard to get people on your level.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see how you feel. If you'll be on my level with this movie.
Good
we're talking about
transition.
Rent-A-Cat from 2012. I'm going to do my best with the pronunciation of everyone who worked on and in this film. So please spare me. Directed and written by Naoko Ogigami. Edited by Shinichi Fushima. Cinematography by Katsutaka Abe. Music by Kosuke Ito. And costume designer Mikako Fuji. Starring Mikako Ichikawa, Reiko Kusumura, Ken Mitsuishi, Maho Yamada, and Kei Tanaka.
Good job.
Thank you. This movie is really hard to find any information on.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not have the budget or the production days. I don't know if you ended up doing any research on this or if you found anything for these stats, but I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. This might be a first.
Yeah. Well, I think we've encountered this before.
But all three?
Right. Yeah. Usually it's like, I could find this, I could find that. But and hey, on that note, I think that we might be the first podcast to ever cover this film. Which
I know.
Right now on Letterboxd, this has 8,000 logs, which is low relative to like other movies that we've done. But there are plenty of movies that have, less than 1,000 or less than 5,000. So for it to be a film that a lot of people have seen, I was pretty surprised that there was almost nothing in terms of like interviews or
Yeah. Well, that being said, Seth, read us our summary.
Sayoko is a young, single woman living in Japan who keeps herself busy with an eclectic mix of pursuits. Tending her garden, trading stocks, telling fortunes, and writing commercial jingles. Since losing her grandmother 2 years ago, she has struggled with loneliness and a quiet pressure to meet society's expectations. But Sayoko has found a way to help others who feel the same. Believing that a cat's companionship can ease the ache of solitude, she offers a simple and heartfelt service to those who are lonely. Rent a cat.
So at the end of last week's episode, when I announced we were going to do this one, I said how I wasn't even finished with my whole first watch of it, deciding to do this. And I don't even remember how I found it. It found me.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. Like my algorithm thankfully did something right and showed this to me and suggested that I should watch this. And I wrote it down. And I have to say, like, I rarely do this. Shocker. If you're a listener here week to week, this won't shock you. But if you're new here, maybe it will because you're like, this is a movie podcast. What do you mean you don't watch a lot of movies? I don't. I will watch movies that Seth recommends to me because I very much value what Seth says. And then besides that, not really. But the fact that this made it onto the list that I was going to watch anyway, and it just so happened to be my week, I was like, I think we should do this. So I'm just so curious how you found this movie in terms of like, did you enjoy it? Were you bored by it? Did you have a problem with the pacing? Like, there's so much we could talk about in terms of like the filmmaking portion of it, but give me your initial thoughts.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I will say I was very shocked last week. I don't know if you saw my face.
Of course I did.
Because you had told me which film we were going to do this week a while ago. And then we get to the end of the episode and you're like, Rent-A-Cat. So number one, I was shocked because, whoa, I was not ready for this. And two, I've never heard of this movie.
Yeah.
Listen, folks, I'll give you a little debriefing, just like Michelle did, if you don't listen to the show all the time. I am not a movie buff. I'm not a cinephile, okay? I'm a movie guy. I like movies, okay? I spend a lot of time thinking about movies, looking at movies that I've never seen. You know, sometimes in my real life, people will say, oh, I like this movie. And I'll say, oh, yeah. And I'll name the actors in it and what it's about. And they're like, oh, you've seen it? And I say, no. I just like to have a general knowledge of movies, right? So for Michelle to bring me a movie that I've never heard of before, I was like, wowee, okay. And then that it's on YouTube, like it's not streaming anywhere, it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that I was like, ooh, nervous, but I was like, what? Like, what is this? Where did this come from? How did she find this? What is happening? But another thing you won't know about us if you don't listen all the time is that Michelle is very into cats. So it wasn't that far out of left field.
Right.
So I went into it really not knowing what to expect. And in the first scene, sometimes we have language that is not correct. So when I say that the first scene is drawn out, that sounds negative right away. And I don't mean for it to be. There's a moment in the first scene where we're almost focused on nothing. And you hear the sound of like a cicada or something in the background. And I was like, wow, that's pretty loud. All right, nothing's happening. And then I realized the cicada is what's happening. Like the nature watching this animal, that is what's happening. So I am a really big fan of when a movie can surprise me and when a movie is made by people who don't feel like they're bound to 3-act structure or resolving things or even necessarily sticking to the same tone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought this was great. I was like, what an odd but refreshing film about something that I've never thought about before. And then it ends in a way that I did not expect. And so I really had a good time with it. I really did. I watched it about twice.
Good.
My second time was kind of like in chunks.
Yeah.
It being on YouTube, you know, I was able to watch part of it like sitting at a restaurant. I like went to one scene and just, you know, put it on and watched it again because I wanted to familiarize myself with it more. But yeah.
Last week we covered Petite Maman, and I said that movie to me felt very gentle and quiet on the mind and the brain. This movie feels like that to me as well. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And the other similarity that I saw between the two films was a dealing with grief in a non-dramatic way.
Yeah, right.
Which is nice for me because I like to deal with everything with humor.
Mm-hmm.
And so having options in, you know, art is it's good. Like if you you know, if your grandma died 2 years ago and you don't have any friends and you're still kind of getting over it, maybe this is the film for you.
Right, because there's so much
likewise,
more.
Petite Maman.
Right, and because it's so much more than just this cat rental service, but also does
yeah.
highlight what it's like to have a companionship with an animal
Mm-hmm.
and how there's sadness all the time. It's part of the human experience. And if you are an animal lover, if you have a pet, you know what it's like that they do fill that little hole of sadness.
Right. Okay, I have a question for you on
Yeah,
this topic, because you are a cat person.
I am.
You take your time and spend your money to help protect the animals in your neighborhood, right? Which is
Mm-hmm.
very nice.
Mm-hmm.
How many cats you got going right now?
I have 3 indoor cats. They stay indoors only. And then outdoors, I feed and take care of between like, I would say 3 and 5,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
depending on the day. But one, Waffles, is our queen, who she's always
Right.
around.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I consider her my outdoor cat.
So, very safe to say that you are an animal person and specifically a cat
Yeah.
person. So my
Yep.
question for you is, do you call yourself like a cat mom, and do you call the cats your children? Because this is something I see people do all the time with animals.
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
And I
right.
will joke and I'll say my children, and I say it to Krista because Krista also she has 4 cats. And actually, I just joked with Anthony, my husband, earlier this week because he said someone that he was talking to, a vendor at his job, was saying like the vendor was saying along the lines of like, oh, now you can go home and tell your wife and kids like what deal you made. And he was like, oh, I don't have kids. I'm like, oh, you should have said, oh yeah, I'll go home and tell Niles, Moish, and Rhoda. And the
Right.
guy was Jewish. I was like, and then you could have talked about Moisha, and and you
Right.
could have ran with that. You could have ran with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And anytime someone asks me, because it happens all the time, oh, do you have kids? And I say, no, I have cats.
Yeah. Right now, all we have kicking around are some fish.
Yeah. How are they doing? We haven't had a fish update in a while.
Well, I'll tell you what, fish don't do a lot. So,
Hey, they're still alive though. So that's impressive.
yep, they're still alive. Yep. And they were having babies and stuff, and that was a whole thing. But,
Yep.
but I don't say like my fish kids. You know what I mean? Like I
think
feel
it's,
like,
yeah.
yeah, cats and dogs in particular are the ones that lean more towards people feeling a familial bond to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Ogigami said in 2012, before this movie came out, she said, I always intend to put a cat in at least one scene of all my films as sort of a good luck charm.
Oh, very good.
And so this has made me want to go watch more of her films. She also said, finding what I could about her, that she looks to only work on her films. She only wants to direct and write her own films. She doesn't want to direct other pieces of art, which I found very interesting.
Cool.
She wants full control. I was like,
right.
I like it.
And I think she should have it,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. There were a lot of, despite this being a movie about cats, a lot of unexpected cats in this film.
A lot of unexpected cats.
Yeah. The camera would cut and I'd be like, whoa.
I want to know, like, how did we get all these cats to cooperate? And especially when she's walking by the river and she has her megaphone and she has the cats in the wagon and she's yelling out her service.
Yep.
Rent an echo. How did those cats stay in the wagon?
I also thought that. I was like, how could they get them to stay? And then I was like, well, maybe they had like some food in there.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just like, let's get these shots really quick.
Yeah.
But in a lot of the shots, you can actually see the cats. So it's not like they'll do like a wide shot and then like an insert and the rest are just on. Like a lot of the time, you could actually see the cats chilling out in there. So
yeah.
I was very impressed. And at the end of the credits, they put in a disclaimer that says something like, we made this movie and we respected all of the cats and their habitats or
Mhm.
something like that. Like and it kind of gave the idea of like maybe they just let the cats go and didn't try to do anything with them.
Or, I mean, I think especially when we're in Sayoko's house and they're just roaming around, I think
Yeah.
they're just roaming around. I'm just particularly curious about the wagon scenes.
Right.
To have all those cats in their little baskets in the wagon. Very impressed.
Feeling lonely?
Rent a nickel. Okay, so Sayoko, our main character, she has attracted cats her whole life. And she runs a business where she rents out cats to lonely people. She feels cats can fill a hole in your heart. She has a problem attracting humans, as she puts it. She hangs up her goals because she feels, or she has heard, that's what you're supposed to do. So get married in a year, go to Hawaii. Specifically, really want to go on a honeymoon.
Right.
What'd you think of her?
Don't just look at people's faces.
That's right. Don't just look at people's faces. Yeah.
That one I found particularly interesting because for me, I have to tell myself, okay, look them in the eyes. Look them in the eyes as you're talking to them. Okay, you've been looking in their eyes a little too much. Look away, So I thought that was kind of interesting. I loved her. I think she's a great, interesting character. Again, talking about our Petite Maman episode, there were some ideas that I had that I didn't want to say are necessarily true interpretations or the right interpretation of the movie. But, is Sayoko the only character in this movie? Are these people real? These people who just kind of come out of nowhere, like literally like just appear out of the reeds by the water. And they're like, yeah, I'll take a cat. And then they all are strange and quirky in kind of similar ways to her. I mean, she literally dreams of the rent-a-car woman before meeting her.
Yeah.
And so again, I'm not trying to say like this is the way that the movie is, but I think that there's a certain surreal quality to all of the interactions that I don't know for sure what's happening.
Yeah, I feel the same. I feel it's very grounded, but at the same time, very eccentric and whimsy. And I think that can be hard to balance, but yet it's doing it in this film. Also, the way, it's close to 2 hours. Is it over 2 hours?
Hour 50, I think.
Yeah, it's episodic, it's slow, it's repetitive, but it's not dull. Well, I don't find it dull.
No. I don't think it's dull. I mean, it's. I felt my brain lighting up a lot. Like when you see the slightest piece of toe peeking out, and she goes, "Oh," and he goes, "Oh." That's so weird and funny.
Yeah. The first person she rents a cat to is this older woman who recently lost her cat, and this person is worried that she's too old to get another one. And she doesn't heartbreaking. She doesn't have a good relationship with her son, and so she is craving that companionship. And this is the first encounter we have, and I'm crying. And I was like, "Oh no. Is this how the rest of this close to 2-hour movie is going to be for me?" And it wasn't. I did tear up a bunch of times, but this particular first story really, really upset me. And I learned that the whole premise for this movie was inspired by Ogigami's father's friend recently lost his cat. He was in his 70s, and he was concerned about getting another cat at his age and if he should get one or not. And so this inspired the premise for this movie. But yeah, the first rental really pulled on my heartstrings.
Yeah, it's pretty much devastating through and through. And for each rental, we also see the aftermath of each one. and it's absolutely horrible. Like it's a good thing that this one comes first, because if it ended on that note,
I know
it would be real dour, because the woman dies a short time later, and that's not even the sad part. The sad part is that her son seemingly does not care about her and is just trying to sell her apartment for the most amount of money, wants the cat gotten rid of, and then opens the refrigerator to find it full of this lemon dessert.
Yeah, his favorite dessert.
Jello. Yeah. And he's like, ugh, how am I going to get rid of all of this? Yeah. Instead of opening it and realizing, like, oh my God, my mom loved me so much that she literally had a refrigerator full of my favorite dessert in case I ever came to see her. And apparently he never did. So it's horrifying, that first segment. And obviously it's done in a very soft and gentle way, but that idea of like, well, I can't get another cat. It's irresponsible because I'll die and then no one will take care of the cat.
Yeah. But I do like the thread of, with every rental, I mean, it is kind of comedic in the way it's done, but Sayoko does do a house visit. So we're not just renting these cats out to anybody. And she makes them sign a contract, which the contract is like a piece of, computer paper. And it's like breed of cat reason. And, will you take the cat back if I can't, when the time is up? And also she only charges like, it's equivalent to like less than $10 US.
Yeah, it's like $6 or $7, I think.
Yeah, something like in 2012 anyway. Yeah. 1,000 yen. And they're always taken aback by this of like, are you going to be okay? And she's like, why? Does it look like I'm not doing okay? And then she always gives these jobs. And the first time she tells the older woman of like, oh yeah, no, I trade stocks. And so you're like, oh, this is how she makes her living. And then we cut to her making what we seem to, she's trading stocks and getting advice from one of the cats. Right. So I was like, this is her job. But this continues where we see her doing different quote unquote jobs.
Yeah. Well, the first time she said that to her, I thought she was just lying to make the older woman feel better.
I also did too, until we saw her doing it. And I was like, oh,
right,
this is what she does.
That's another interesting part of the film that I think elevates it from, someone could potentially say like, nothing's really happening, or this is pretty plotless and almost without any type of like resolution. She doesn't really achieve her goals. And she kind of is at the same place that she started. And she does have a monologue at the ending, but it's not like she says, I realize now that I don't need to do those things. It's not quite that like strong of a punch. So if someone said, there's kind of really nothing happening here, it's just an interesting structure of like repetition. And there's so much repetition in the movie. And at one point, Sayoko even like looks at the camera and says, "Deja vu."
Yeah.
Where the whole movie feels like deja vu. Like it all feels like, because you're like, wait, didn't the last person say the exact same things? And didn't she say, but it's just slightly different. So it's like the whole movie is, it's like a series of repetitions.
Right. And I mean, there's like relatability in that, right? Because if you were to do a job and you deal with a different person at your job, you're probably going to be asked the same questions and you have to give the same answers. And so it's just rare that we see that repetition so quickly in a movie.
Yeah. Normally that would be a montage.
Right.
It would be like a montage of her giving cats to 6 people and them all saying the same thing and it'd be funny.
Right.
This is the whole movie is a montage of this time period.
Right. And while she's not attracting humans, as she puts it, she is having like very intimate moments with these humans. And so while you are renting out the cat for loneliness, you also are getting a dose of companionship. It's just not a long-term
Right.
societal expectation of a companion.
Right. I wanted to ask you about that very idea, which she says even when she was in middle school, she doesn't have any friends. Seems that her grandmother is her only companion and champion.
Yeah.
And she says, oh, wherever I go, cats find me. But people don't. But then it's through the cats that people do find her.
Right.
And so my question for you is like, do you ever feel like, because I do, your talents kind of make you attractive to people, but just you on your own, you don't necessarily feel like people are like flocking to be your friend?
I don't feel I have any talents.
Oh, come on. What are you talking about?
No, I feel I don't have any talents, but I will say I feel pretty strongly in that I have a good personality. And so I never have an issue with people having a conversation, making friends. In fact, I feel like that's really all I have going for me is my personality. Truth be told.
Well, same, right, same. But I guess that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, if I get an opportunity to present myself to a room of people, I can win them over. If I walk into a room of people, I don't feel that people are necessarily attracted to, and I don't mean attracted in like a romantic way or physical. Just like, I don't feel like I walk into a room and everyone's like, hey, who's this guy? Let's talk to this guy.
Yeah, no. I don't have
You know what I mean?
No. I don't have that.
Yeah.
Nobody's looking when I enter a room.
Right. I think when I walk into a room, people are like looking away. They're like, oh.
They probably, honestly,
like, when you see someone.
Yeah.
You see someone in public and it's like, I really shouldn't be looking at this person. So you don't. That's me.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's just like, oh, another, semi blonde haired girl with glasses, like boring. Next. Like,
semi.
Yeah.
Do you know this on Semi Charmed Kind of Life?
Of course. Yeah.
Semi blonde kind of chick.
Right. That's me.
That's you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No one's looking. No one cares. No one's looking. Although sometimes I feel as late I'm getting looks and then I'm wondering, one, am I talking out loud? Two, do I have like a RBF going on? 3, am I like thinking so hard that you can see what I'm thinking about without actually saying it?
Right. Yeah, I have to worry about having RBF, but for me that stands for roast beef face.
What?
Like if people look at me, I'm like, oh no, do I have roast beef all over my face?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Anyway.
The second rental, this guy is feeling lonely. He's been away from his family because of work. He also has a stench.
Old man. Look, I've talked about this with your husband, and I've talked about it with you.
Really?
You get older and you start to smell things that your body is making that you never had before. And it's like, what is going on? I guess this is what my arm smells like now.
Yeah.
So I got it. I understood it, man. This poor guy.
Yeah. So she ends up renting the kitten to him. He ends up going back to his home and his family, but he keeps the kitten because this kitten is the only thing that truly loves him. And he has a conversation with his wife the agreement that like, I'm not coming back unless you allow the kitten to come live with us, even though she's extremely allergic.
Right.
So I was like, this is an interesting scenario.
Mm-hmm. He's the guy with the tiny little hole in his sock that I mentioned earlier.
Yep.
So funny. Absolutely hilarious. And there's funny stuff that happens before this in the movie. But when this happened, I was like, okay, something's going on. And then when she comes back, she sees that the hole, which was like teeny tiny, has now been stitched very poorly, I should add.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, and he's like, mm-hmm. So I am allergic to cats.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, it makes life difficult because a lot of people have cats. And I go places and sometimes it's like, all right, I can't be here anymore, you know?
Yeah.
I think, you know, at one point, like everyone in my wife's family had cats in their house.
Oh my God.
And so I'd be like, can everyone come here for every holiday and birthday?
Yeah.
So yeah, for his wife to be like, yep, absolutely. That's pretty intense.
Yeah, but I don't think they have a very good relationship because then we do a cutaway to him at home and it doesn't seem good. So, but at least he has the cat. At least he has the cat.
He's completely alone. Yeah. He's leaving and notices something and calls out for his wife and
Yeah.
His cat comes.
Yeah. Yeah. Also at this rental, you know, we get again the line where he says to her like, are you going to be okay? Are you sure you're only charging this much? And this is where she says she's a fortune teller and she's very good. She's been doing it since she was young. And he's like, can you read my fortune? And she's like, you know, I have a very long wait. I'm in high demand. Get in line.
Right.
And so then we cut to, and this is where I was like, oh, I see this is very interesting. She's not just trading stocks. Is she also fortunate? Because we see a line of people waiting. They all have their shoes off waiting because she says like cats don't care about your smell. The cats at my house never care about anybody's foot smell. So I was like, this is so fun and interesting of what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And again, is any of this happening?
Is it?
What is really happening? Because we do get a flashback to her as a kid.
Yep.
And she says, you know, I wasn't smart enough to be in class, so I just went to the nurses and slept all day.
Right.
So she keeps saying, well, the only thing I was good at since a kid was trading stocks and fortune telling and then writing music. And we just don't see any of that like evident. So it's loose. It's slippery.
Yeah.
Trying to get a hold of what's actually happening in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. The third rental, which she has a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, like you mentioned, she has this dream where she's dreaming about a rent-a-cat service.
Right.
And the service lists cats in classes and describes what breeds are in the classes and like the pricing of them. And Sayoko's just like, no cat should be in classes. Like all cats are beautiful.
Right.
Essentially, there should be no hierarchy system. This is a dream. And then she ends up walking into a rent-a-car location. And it's the same woman that she dreamt about. And because she wants to go to Hawaii, because she's so hot, the weather so hot, she wants to cool off to go to Hawaii, honeymoon in Hawaii. Anyway, this was like, again, we're episodic, we're repetitive, but then this happens. I'm like, oh, it's just a little, I'm very interested to see how we're going to continue doing this.
Right. And has the same conversation about cars and classes and cats and classes. I love her reasoning. She's like, it's so hot. And then she goes to turn on a fan and she's like, no, I must save electricity.
Yeah.
And then she says, what do you do when it's hot? Oh, you go someplace hotter so that you forget that you're hot. And I'm like, you know what? At this point, I really felt like, and I actually paused the movie to look this up. I felt like I was more reading, in these vignettes or episodes, whatever you want to call them, chapters. It was like the Sunday edition of a comic strip.
Yeah.
We know the main character, and then here's the situation that they're in, and then it kind of resolves, and then it repeats each week. And it's not. This isn't based, because I was like, this has to be based on like a manga or a comic or just something, because that's how it felt. But yeah, and she says deja vu. So I don't know. So what do you think is happening?
I think she actually is doing this service. And I think that maybe she doesn't have to work. And so maybe she does partake in all these little hobbies. Because we see her, she has a nice house. She's tending her garden. Like, she doesn't seem to be stressed with work.
Right.
Or maybe it just doesn't matter, you know?
Right. I did wonder if maybe her grandmother had left her money.
Or left her the house.
And she didn't want to talk about that because she didn't want to talk about her grandmother with other people.
Right.
Or she didn't want to say, oh, I don't need to make money because my grandmother died and left me the house and all the money. And so she makes up these little things.
Yeah.
And we don't like, I think that the movie does ask us to be as innocent and straightforward as Sayoko is. And so I don't think that we need to figure it out. Like, I think we can just take it as this, everything that's happening is happening. End of story. Believe it or not. But there's a lot of surreal stuff.
Yeah.
The neighbor,
the neighbor,
who she calls the old hag. And this just crazy vindictive relationship that they have. I thought it was, I mean, to the point where at the end, the neighbor is like, you can cry, it's okay. And so she starts crying, and the neighbor says, oh my God, you look so ugly.
The neighbor says that, right? But then throws her an egg and gives this sympathetic look and says, put salt on it.
Right. Does one egg make up for?
Or is it just an act of like a human connection moment?
I know,
I see you.
But then is the neighbor real? Like,
is the neighbor real? Is the neighbor real?
Is any of this real? Is this a person who's so alone that she's makes created a world? Yeah.
I mean, do you think her, I don't even want to say childhood friend, but the kid from the past, is he real? He's a thief. He's on the run.
And that the repetitions become further apart, because then by the time we get to him, he's kind of like the last full story or full episode.
Yeah.
It goes back to her childhood, and now we're having deja vu of something that happened, 20 years ago. And then it plays out the exact same way in the present. That doesn't happen in real life,
Yeah. He comes, he wants to rent a cat. He recognizes her. She says, no, I remember you. He shows up at her house. He then goes and gets beer, because beer is the thing you should drink on a hot day.
Right.
And so they share a beer, and then he leaves. He kind of disappears. And then the cops come and question her, which I found comical on this guy. But then what I love is she's eating an ice candy, an ice pop in present day. She's thinking about, the ice candy that he brought her when they were in the nurse's station.
Yeah.
And she wonders if that ice candy was stolen back then. I liked that. Like, can people change sort of deal?
Right. What I liked about that is just again, like how there's really not like a lot of resolution to some parts of this. And when the cops come, like, hi, we heard that this guy was in the area, and shows the picture. It's like, he's a thief. And she goes, oh, like she's so shocked. And then it just ends like
That's it.
So it's just like, yeah, it's just a funny little gag, I guess. I will say the description of this movie is so incorrect.
Very.
It says, a young woman who rents out cats to lonely old folks finds her life turned upside down when a young man from her past shows back up in her life. And so I had read this description before watching the movie, and she doesn't just rent cats to old people, so that's wrong. And then he shows up 80% of the way through the movie, and her life is not upended or changed at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because I really thought, okay, we're going to see these 3 vignettes play out. The guy from the past is going to come, and they're going to fall in love. Literally, this is what I thought. Because this is what I've been trained, right, to think.
Right. Yes.
And we're planting these seeds. She's putting in her vision board of, she wants to get married and go on a honeymoon. So I'm like, oh, here comes the guy from the past. And that's not at all where it goes.
Right.
And I like that. I like that I was proven wrong.
And it feels like Ogigami, she knows the rules. And so she's able to set up some of those things and then just doesn't do any of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's playful. And, dare I say, this movie is slippery like a cat. It's not, a dog, right? You can train a dog to be sitting by your front door whenever you come home and then fetch and this and that. And a cat isn't like that. A cat doesn't always listen, and it kind of, you have to live alongside this other thing that has a stronger will than you, I think, most of the time, right?
Yeah. I mean, cats can definitely be trained. And in fact, today I learned my newest cat, Rhoda, likes to play fetch. So we played fetch during my workout. And she just kept bringing the toy, and I would throw it between reps, and then she'd bring it back. I was like, oh my gosh. But that being said, to go with your example, I keep joking that she's a puppy. She has puppy energy. So, and then you have a cat that acts like a dog, you hit the jackpot. So I'm like, this is great. I love the ending.
Well, wait, are we going to talk about the third lady?
The third
lady.
We
briefly talked about Rent-A-Car.
Oh, yeah, we could go back. Okay, let's go back to her.
Because there's one question that I have for you.
Okay.
Out of this entire movie, and it's about this woman.
Yes. Okay, so going back to the third rental, the woman who works at the rent-a-car place, she hasn't found love yet, and her and Sayoko end up sharing donuts together. Mm-hmm. Which is like both of them need companionship and to have lunch with one another. And she eats donuts in a very interesting way.
So I thought of you during this scene. Mm-hmm. She eats a donut around, not through.
Yeah.
Like we're used to seeing someone take a bite and you bite out the middle and then you eat around it that way. She eats around it, leaving just the middle.
The whole.
And Sayoko says, you eat that really weird. And she says, oh, haha. Ever since I was a kid, I thought about how to eat the whole of a donut. And this is the best way that I came up with. And then we see her eat all around it and then put the whole in her mouth. And I was like, that is the most Michelle thing I've ever seen in a movie. I think, maybe.
Yeah. I can't argue with that. I can't argue
Like
with
when
that.
you saw that, were you like, I gotta try that?
Yes. I was like, I need a donut stat. And I haven't been able to get one yet, but yes. And I do eat food in weird ways.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, but I love that. And each person, I think, expresses the same idea, which is loneliness, but then it's all kind of different flavors of loneliness.
Mm-hmm.
So the older woman, I think, is mostly death. Her husband dies, her cat dies, she dies. The second person, it's kind of the loneliness of being left behind. He's a cat person, and then his daughter, who he loves and thinks is beautiful and smart, and she's a dog person. And so she's kind of distanced herself in that way. And then now she says that he smells. And then he moves home and no one cares about him. So his family isn't dead, but they've grown past him. And then this woman, she says, she works all day. No one comes in. And then she goes home and no one's at home either. And so it's like the loneliness of not being needed, like
Right.
not being useful, and no one's
Right.
waiting for you. No one's waiting on you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fourth guy, he says that he does not have a home. And then we later find out that he's like on the run.
Right.
So
right.
It's an interesting look at 4 different types of loneliness and how a cat fixes all of them.
Can fill a hole slowly. I mean, and if you want to add in the fifth, the ending with the young kid who approaches her and he's kind of like, oh, weird cat lady. And she's like, I think you're lonely. Just if you're lonely, just come out and say it. And then she holds out her arms. He's like, you can come in and hug, And then he goes for it. And then she's like, oh, we were kidding. It's like very, very playful. It's like very, very playful.
Yeah.
It's and it's a younger, we're younger in age, the person at the end.
And it's the first, I mean, the guy previous, the kid that she knew from school, he's a little obnoxious.
Yeah.
But this is the first person who's kind of aggressive, almost violent.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the movie, we come to love the cat cart.
Mm-hmm.
And here he is just like putting his foot on it.
Yeah.
And not letting her move and being very demanding. And I was like, oh, this kid is not going to pass the inspection.
Oh, she's not even, she's like, no, she knows he won't pass. But then realizes like, you're young. You just need to, like, it's okay. You can admit that you're lonely and that you're sad.
But then again, the movie plays on your expectations and you think, okay, here it is. She has interacted through the cats the whole time. Now she's just going to hug someone. She's just going to reach out and try to help this person herself. And then he goes to do it and she's like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
And it's like, wait, she didn't learn anything. Or she did learn, but it's not even learning. It's just that she's going to stay the course of what she's doing.
Right. She does give a monologue to sum it up she talks about how after her grandmother died, life kept moving forward. Spring became spring, summer became summer, even though she was sad. Life is still going to go on whether or not you are sad or not. And the cats filled her loneliness hole slowly. And I was just like, preach, I'm standing up and applauding. So I'm like, I feel this so hard. Yes. And then the final shot of what she wrote, this year I will get married, and it falls down.
Right.
Off the wall.
Right. I think that consistency and discipline are probably the least attractive virtues in a person. because we think it's boring and repetitive. You know, my father-in-law, he worked one job his entire life. He worked for the New York State Tax Department, which, as you might be able to imagine, is a very boring job.
Mm.
And he did it for like 43 years. He drove to the same office every day and drove home every day and just did that. That, I think, can be seen as a boring story where nothing happens, right? But I do think that there is something to be said for, like I said, staying the course. She doesn't come to a big revelation and meet the love of her life and then moves on. She's like, no, I'm going to keep renting cats to people.
Mm-hmm.
And we see why that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we see why over the course of the movie, how much that means to people and what role she fits in her community and society.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought it was a great ending. I thought it was just as inspiring as if she, quote unquote, like fixed everything that's wrong with her or got everything that she wanted.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a few questions that I wrote down for you specifically.
Okay.
Are you going to start carrying around dried fish?
Oh, I used to carry around treats when I used to go for walks.
Uh-huh.
Because you never know, you know?
Yeah.
And also, like, which we didn't really talk about the actual cats in this movie and who our favorites were. But the white cat shows up in the beginning and looking for a meal. And she says she's always attracted cats, but really this cat's showing up. She gives the cat a meal and then gives him the dried fish. And he keeps coming back because now he has a home. And so now there's a purpose. And now we have this mutual relationship of I care for you, you care for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So no to the dried fish?
No, but cat treats. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny because she was like, I don't know why, but cats have always been attracted to me. And my grandma too. And then she's like, my grandma always carried around dried fish in her apron. It's like, well,
Right.
yeah, I mean, come on. What are you talking about?
Right.
Of course cats are coming to you everywhere you go. Okay, second question. And I don't even feel like this is a question. I know that this is true. Would you go to a psychic who uses cats in their divination?
1,001%, yes. I chose my dentist. I chose my dentist because in her profile, she listed she had a cat. And so I looked up her Instagram and I saw pictures of the cat, and that's why I chose my dentist. She's a great dentist, by the way. That? I did, yeah.
Was she like, oh boy?
She was like, oh my gosh, isn't he cute? And I was like, yes, that's why I chose you.
Okay, last question. Would you consider, if you throw a party, you know, in the summertime, let's say, it's warm outside, you got people around, would you consider a noodle water slide?
Another thing I want. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's have fun with our food, folks. So good.
Again, I saw this and I was like, that feels like something Michelle would maybe not do, but be really into.
Very excited about. Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. I thought maybe I was like, okay, maybe not noodles because people wouldn't be as adept with the chopsticks. Although that's part of the fun.
That is part of the fun. Yeah.
You know? So I was like, maybe a hot dog water slide.
Sure. But then what I would do is like, okay, so you have the hot dog, and then I would put like a little toothpick in it with a flag, and then you could race them, or little toothpick and then a face on them, and then you could be riding a boat, and you have a lot of fun with that. Or like a flume ride.
You could hang squeeze bottles along the route. So be like, okay, you got to run to ketchup, and then got to hit the ketchup at the right moment.
Yep.
And then, okay, run down for mustard. And then you got to catch it with a bun at the end. Catch it quick.
And we could pretend like it's a whole theme park ride.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
hot dog water park.
Yeah, it sounds fun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess my last thought is just going back to the neighbor. I just got such a kick out of, she's like, that old hag. I'll never forgive her. And then the neighbor is saying, like, men have never been attracted to a woman over 5'7". And then she's like, well, maybe, but they have to have big boobs and you don't.
Yeah.
This is in, and then she's like, I went to a psychic and did a reading for you.
Terrible.
Like what? What is happening? So I just love that. I love that idea of a neighbor that is like actively, when that noodle part happens, the neighbor says, like, sings a song that's like, eating cold noodles by herself. What a pointless life.
Yeah. Says she's a locust, and like locusts don't attract.
You were a locust in a past life.
Past life. Yeah. Wow.
Incredible. Yeah.
Wow.
That could have been the whole movie to me. Like, just every day they go outside and hate each other. It's like grumpy old men, but it's like grumpy neighbors.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite cat?
This might come as a surprise to you. I didn't really. I liked the big fat cat that had kind of like boxed ears, but I was like, I don't know if you should do that to cats.
Oh no, I think it was a Scottish fold, which is a breed.
So it's a what?
A Scottish fold. Their ears are folded. That is a breed. I think that one was Master Udamaru.
Yeah.
I believe that was I liked that one. I didn't get all of their names, but the kitten was very cute. But kittens become adult cats,
Right.
They were all
Did you
cute.
have a favorite cat?
Probably Master Udamaru. Yeah. I've always wanted a Scottish fold, so.
Yeah. There's a lot of things in this movie. Like this was the type of movie where we say you start to take notes and then you stop because it's like, I'm just writing down every single line and every single little thing that happens. And that's not really note taking. That's just dictation.
Yep.
Like when she brings the pineapple and puts the pineapple on the altar and then she goes, huh, and turns it, goes, pineapples look weird on the altar. It doesn't mean anything.
And then she puts the cat and she's like, much better.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
Or when she's dusting and she's like, I'm just going to leave it. And then she's like, I can't leave it. I have to dust. I was like, oh, I get that.
What do I do now? Do I ignore it and pretend that I didn't see it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this is a fun, it's a fun, quirky movie. And I hope with what little influence we have on people's lives that we can help push this movie for other people to see.
You know what else is crazy? This movie premiered on May 12th, 2012. And it's May 13th.
That is insane.
Again, Seth and I, we go back and forth on this with behind the scenes of just like, it's the movie Friends effect. Because our timing with things is just like weird.
Well, okay, at the beginning of this month, we covered Donnie Darko, a movie that we've talked about doing for a long time. We put out our episode, and then a few days later, it's announced that Richard Kelly is releasing a sci-fi book this year, which, if you know anything about Richard Kelly, it has been years since he's put out anything. And so we were like, okay, well, that's really crazy. Then we put out Petite Maman the day after Mother's Day and didn't even realize that it was Mother's Day.
And then so when we did Selena, it was her month of her birthday. It's just so weird. It's just like,
there's
it's weird.
I would say like at least half the time when we release an episode, something will happen either in the world or in our lives where it just like lines up.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Good job.
Yeah. All right, let's go into our happies and crappies.
It's time for happies and crappies. Happies and crap. It's time for happies and crappies. Happies and crap. It's time for
My happy was just all the cats and just observing them and them really feeling authentic and real. And it didn't feel like the cats were acting. It just felt very real. So I love that. My crappy, gosh, I feel like I don't have a crappy. And I keep saying that every week on this show. What is going on? But
Well, just the last few. I mean,
I know that's true.
We have crappies every week, you know.
That's true. But I don't have a crappy with this one.
My happy is Mikako Ichikawa as Sayoko.
Yeah.
I love the look of her face. I love her timing. I love every time she said, "Feeling lonely." Obviously in Japanese.
Yeah.
I just I fell in love with her in this movie. I was like, this I need to see. Kind of similar to John Hader in Napoleon Dynamite. How you watch it and you're just like, what is going on with this person? Who is this human being that I've never seen before? And I'm just, the way that Napoleon chugs Gatorade while he's super, super sweaty and, all of the line deliveries and the stuff. That's how I felt about her in this movie. It was like everything you're saying. I love every part of this. So yeah, she's definitely my happy. For my crappy, I don't know. Like I said at the top, this movie plays on your expectations. That's always going to be incredibly refreshing to me. And I did not think that this was too long. I would watch a sequel that is the same exact thing. I would watch this woman go into people's homes with a cat forever, I think.
Same. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I would also say I didn't have a crappy. I think I would say that.
Wow. That's great. I'm speechless.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about how we feel about the movie, so now let's hear from some strangers on the internet in a segment called Half Star, 3-Star, 5-Star. These are reviews from letterboxd.com, which is a website and app where you can log, rate, and review movies. We start with a half-star review, which is the lowest rating you can give a film, and go all the way up to a 5-star review, which is the highest rating that you can give a film. And on this show, Seth reads our half-star reviews in an accent or impersonation. I don't have any requests. Seth, is anything calling to you, or should we spin our wheel?
I'm trying to think of famous cat voices. But I don't think I can do any of that. I can't do Garfield.
I was just going to say, can you do Garfield?
John, put down that lasagna.
Okay. Odie, right.
He should be taken out into the street and shot. No, I can't do any cat voices, so.
All right. Let's spin the wheel.
Wheel of Voices.
Hey, Rocky. Can you read our half-star review?
Hey, Michelle, how you doing?
I'm good, Rocky. I feel you are a good choice for this because you are an animal lover.
Hey, Rocky Balboa is a friend to all the little guys, turtles, cats, anything, really.
What's crazy, Rocky and Seth, there are no half-star reviews.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, I know. So I pulled a 1-star review.
Is that a first?
I thought so. I can't remember another time we had no half-star reviews.
Maybe Magic Spot doesn't? That might be the only one.
Oh, maybe.
But, okay. Wow.
Maybe.
All right. Well, hey, Rocky. You might be partaking in history here then. Much obliged. All right, let's do it. Okay, so here is a 1-star review for Rent-A-Cat, read by Rocky Balboa. Just put that cat down on the floor. Stop holding him. During most of the scenes, I just wanted them to leave the cats alone. Filming with animals is complicated, and there were scenes where I kept thinking about all the behind-the-scenes stuff. The main story was so boring, artificial, and repetitive that I had no choice. Some of the cat's body language definitely suggested that they didn't want to be there. On top of that, I didn't believe a single storyline in this movie, especially when I was supposed to believe that these movie characters truly love cats. None of the actions communicated that. Characters who were supposed to love cats didn't even seem to know how to interact with them. Everything felt forced.
Wow. Thank you, Rocky.
Wow. You're welcome, Michelle.
I mean,
You
I just don't agree.
I gotta tell you, I don't know anything about cats. I don't think that cats like to be picked up, but I also don't really know.
I scoop mine up all the time. Give them little smoochies.
I know that kittens get picked up by the back of their neck by their moms.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't do that to cats. I'm just going through what I know about cats and picking them up.
I mean, what this person is stating, they felt like none of these movie characters loved cats.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
And I can understand, wanting to know about the behind the scenes, and filming with cats can be, filming with animals can be complicated. Okay. But I did feel that their reactions towards the cats was genuine.
The only character that I kind of was like, I don't know that she's really into this, was the rent-a-car person.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because she didn't seek out the rent-a-cat the same way everyone else does.
Right.
And then she's like, oh, I'm going to Hawaii. Can you take this cat back? But then she does say, can I rent another one when I come back? So
Right.
I don't know. I think this person, this person wants to, be the Lorax of cats.
Right.
And speak for all of them. And I just don't think that's, hey, good for you, man.
And there was really not a lot of 1-star reviews to choose from. So
nice.
Yeah. Okay, 3-star review says, one expects cuteness overload reading the synopsis, but Rent-A-Cat is a far more melancholic fare, basically tackling loneliness in Japanese society, or modern society in general, if you will. In a very kind manner, Mikako gives a beautiful performance as the eccentric Sayoko, and the cats do their job too. Director Naoko Ogigami definitely has her own way of telling stories through repetition without any real climax, which somehow feels weird. In a way, this does invite thought on the subject matter, although it also gives the impression of an unfinished film.
I completely disagree. I think that this film is saying a ton. I think it's very poignant. This is not unfinished. It just isn't the build climax release that we're used to in most movies. And so, no, it's not unfinished. It's just a different ending.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you ever tell a story in your own life and the end of the story isn't that great? It's the middle stuff, and you'll tell a story. It's like, and then people will be like, oh, what happened next? You're like, I don't know. They just, they walked off or whatever, right? The ending isn't great, but that doesn't mean that the story isn't worth telling. And I'm not even saying that this ending isn't great. It's just the ending isn't the punchline of the movie.
Well said. 5-star review says, beautiful movie about loneliness. I think it belongs in my top 4. Man, I need a cat.
Oh, no. Well, but that's good, though. That's good.
Yeah. We rate things as a movie, schmovie, or a film. We rate it 1 through 5 stars, give our thoughts on the runtime, if we recommend it or not, and we give a shout out to whatever part of the film's practical filmmaking stood out to us. Before we record each episode, we write down a guess of what the other host will rate the film, and every time we guess correctly, we get to add a point to our tattoo tally. And whoever has the most points at the end of the year gets to pick a tattoo for the other host that they will then get tattooed on them without knowing what it is. First, we are currently tied. We each have 6 points.
When I edited last week's episode, I think, it was Petite Maman. We were in a gentler headspace, I think. We did not make a big enough deal out of that we're tied now, because you were trailing for a while.
I know.
And I think that you were getting real depressed.
I was getting real depresso and worried and sweating and anxious. Yeah. Okay. So for you, Seth, I wrote down, well, my notebook's over there, but I wrote down 3.5 film.
Oh, no. Come on. This is a super solid, super solid 4-star movie.
Wow.
And I really thought about, is this a 4.5 star? All that stuff. Right. Listeners, if you also don't listen to us all the time, a lot of this whole rating part of our show was based in how we think that ratings are stupid. And sometimes I think it's good to remind everyone of that, because it's what's the difference? You know what I mean? Come on. But no, super solid I am recommending this movie to everyone. On our Twitter, I usually just announce what movies we're doing and then say that the episode is out. But from here until this episode comes out, I'm probably going to do it twice, but I'm going to be saying, hey, this is the movie we're doing. Here's the link to it. Watch this movie. I'm really going to try to get people to watch this. This is by far a recommend to everyone. I think every person on the planet should watch this movie. Contemplate your relationship to loneliness and to the natural world, because we get not just a lot of shots of cats, but ants, covering up ant holes and walking around town and heat. She's living in a natural world. And I think that this is a good contemplation on our relationship to that. Practical filmmaking, all of the cat acting, outstanding, incredible. I can't imagine filming a movie and throwing this element into it. And I think the runtime is awesome. I think it's great. I think it could have been genuinely, if this was a 4-hour movie, I would be that's cool. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. For you, I may have just gone way too far, but I'm going to guess a 5-star movie.
Oh, no, I'm rating this a 4-star film.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I was cats. Michelle's gonna.
I know. But for me, I agree on the solid 4, but for me, this is a film. I am so glad the algorithm did this and presented this to me, because most of the time it's pure shit, But this really came through. So thank you, internet. I agree with you. The runtime for me, this was such a gentle, peaceful, enjoyable watch for me. And if I could have this every week, if we did break this into vignettes and every week was just Sayoko going to rent a cat to a new person, and we are visiting loneliness and companionship, and we're just talking about that every week, I think that would be wonderful. Practical filmmaking, the cats, like I said, how are we keeping them in that wagon? Truly, outside. How are we doing this? They are inside relaxing, and the doors are open to the garden. And the cats are just acting like they belong there. And there's a lot of them. So I am very impressed, and I am recommending this to everyone. This is one of the best movies I've seen in a really long time.
Hey, if you're happy that the algorithm showed you our show.
Does that happen? Can you let us know?
I don't know. I know, right? Every week we're begging people.
Well,
how'd you hear about us? What's happening?
How did you hear about us?
But hey, yeah, if you saw Rent-A-Cat and you searched for a podcast that covered it, and we are the only people who show up, and you enjoyed this episode, we would love it if you give us a rating and a review wherever you're listening. Look, folks, we don't discriminate, You listen on Podcast Addict, Podcatcher, Podbean, Podbay. I can go on. Okay?
Please do. What else you got?
Pod job.
Pod job.
Pod smokers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pod. Wait, dad. Pod dad. Dad bod. Pod bod. You know, wherever you're listening. Give us a rating and a review. We'd also love it if you send us an email, moviefriendspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought about Rent-A-Cat. Please, oh my gosh, please. Trust me when I say it will be the highlight of Michelle's morning if you send us an email and say, I watched Rent-A-Cat. Here's what I thought. Even if you dislike it. Maybe not, but give it a whirl, okay?
No, if you dislike, I want to hear why.
You can also support the show, patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. Look, folks, it's $5. You sign up, okay? You get access to all of our additional episodes and series. You get ad-free episodes. You get to join our Patreon-only Discord. And you get to vote on one movie every single month. And then every 3 months, a monthly theme. Oh my goodness. And hey, we're in the process of making a movie ourselves, okay? So we take that money that you send us to support the show, and we put that right into an actual film that you will be able to watch. And I'm just going to say it. If you sign up, we're going to put your name first thing in the credits. Before it even says directed by, it will say funded with the hard-earned and graciously given money from insert your name here.
Yes. Yes, yeah. We will do that.
But just you specifically, no one else.
No, just you.
Yeah, just you. And hey, speaking of our patrons and voting on a movie, next week is the end of the month, final episode of the month. What movie are we doing?
Well, much like its title, I didn't even know this existed. How do you say this title? Existence?
Existence?
Is it existence with a capital Z? I don't know, guys, but it's from 1999, directed by David Cronenberg. It's streaming on Plex. Is this real? I don't know. I've never heard of this movie. It looks like typed it weird on a keyboard.
Is this real is a fantastic mindset to bring into that film.
I've never even heard of this.
You know, one may be able to call Donnie Darko a kind of comfy film. Petite Maman, definitely. Rent-A-Cat, of course. And now we are being thrown into the deep end.
Comfy time is over? Is that what you're saying?
Comfy May is coming to an end. This is our first David Cronenberg episode on the main show on one of our Patreon series. That's messed up. I did an episode on Videodrome with my wife, which you can check out if you sign up. But yeah, this is the first Cronenberg. Cronenberg is huge influence, larger than life character director in the last 40 years. And it's very funny to me that Existence is the first movie of his that we're doing. But hey, we're doing it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Oh, now that I think about it, I actually think my wife and I did an episode on Crash, not Videodrome. Although maybe we did both. I don't know. But
I've seen
we definitely
Crash.
did.
I have seen Crash.
You've seen Crash?
Yes. Have I? Yes, for school. I watched it in school.
About the car crashes?
Yeah.
And the people who enjoy them in a very particular way? No. That's the
Wrong
other Crash. Yes.
Never mind, friends. I haven't.
Very different Crash. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's
but
stupid. Anyway.
Get Cronenberg on the horn and tell him to go back and change the title. Although his Crash came first, so
yeah, no. So it would be. It's not stupid. I shouldn't have said that.
Other guy.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. Existenzi? Capital Z at the end?
Yeah, existenzi.
Existenzi?
You know, when you're having one of those existenzi crises.
Existenzi crisis? Yeah, got it. All righty. Thanks, patrons.
I can't wait. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thanks, Michelle.
Thank you, Seth. Thanks for your enthusiasm with this one.
Of course. Thanks for picking a movie I've never heard of and now love.
Cool.
And hey, thank you for listening. And remember, folks, the flowers are red and the sky is blue. Till next week when we're talking about existence. Thank you for listening. Have a good one.
Movie Friends is produced by Seth Vargas and Michelle Rubenstein. Theme music by Jean Marie Vargas. Visit us at our website, moviefriendspodcast.com, and please subscribe and rate our show wherever you are listening. You can support Movie Friends at patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. Thanks for listening.